Hello, I'm Jeremy.
And I'm AJ.
And these are Extraordinary Times. We have a few interesting stories for you today, and, we... This text message is so important. Sorry, just had to cover my tracks real quick. Thank you for tuning in, as always. Pardon us, that was some catharsis. And our first story of the day, well, I'll throw back to yesterday like we so often do. Tupac, he's back at Coachella. Word.
Happy day.
So, you know, they did that old songs that they used to do with Pac on stage with Holopac, and you know that was a really big deal. And you know, Dr. Dre talked about the whole situation in an interview last weekend before it all happened. He was kind of vague. He was just like,
"We're gonna do something.
We're gonna do something." You know, they kind of gave me a blank check to do what I wanted. So you know, check it out. In that real sly way Dre does.
We don't know how much he put into Holopac. Somewhere between $100,000 and $400,000. The specs haven't been released yet and won't be until Coachella's finished this year. I can't talk.
Neither can I. But the important thing is that one day, very soon, we'll find out exactly how they did it and how much it cost and how to make it cheaper so we can put it into movies.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to that day.
Most definitely.
Come on.
Okay, so it's tax day today. If you haven't gotten your taxes done, get them done. We got them done yesterday.
That's why the show was so late. Sorry.
Anyway, so evidently, there's people in the United States that find tax day even more frustrating than we do.
Repulsive, in fact.
So much so that they give up their citizenship. Whoa, I know taxes are terrible. I know the IRS is an illegal institution and everything is completely out of whack. But is it really that bad? And is there really any other country that's better?
More countries take much more of your money. Well, if you're a citizen, granted, if you're there and then you renounce your citizenship, do you have citizenship with which to base your being there? And thusly, are you...
Can you not be a citizen of any country?
Are you a non-national?
I want to find this
Technically, they would call it an expat. Something. But moving on.
Live out in the middle of the Pacific or something. Anyway.
Like the Scientologists. Oy vey.
Denver.
Oh, well, out in
Colorado.
Out in the mountains of Colorado, there is a dilemma brewing over 6 bovine-type creatures that found their way into a cabin in the middle of a snowstorm. They hypothesize. And
because who would put 6 cows into a cabin
and freeze them? Because these cows are still frozen. It's April for those of us in Houston. That doesn't mean much. It's very warm here now. But in Colorado, in the mountains, it is still quite coldish, and these cows are frozen through and through. And before they thaw, the National Forest Service wants to figure out what to do with them. Highest on the list right now is blowing them up. Not just blowing them up, but destroying them by blowing them up. Like, absolutely vaporizing them. Apparently they do that all with like elk and things that are in hard-to-reach places and they can't get them out, you know, by a truck or helicopter or whatever. Apparently helicopter is more expensive to run and move these cows out than blowing them up. Oh, I'm sorry. It gets harder and harder to say that with a straight face the more times we have to record this.
I think they're just taking a tip from the military, and if they have a problem with something, make it explode.
Call the Marines. They know how to do that.
All right.
And we move on.
Awesome stuff. So, SpaceX, if you don't know what that is, it is a space exploration technologies company. They have been given the
exploration technology.
Right.
Something.
Well, there's another company that does the same thing. But anyway, NASA has cleared SpaceX for their Dragon capsule to do a cargo run to the International Space Station. This is amazing news for two reasons. One, it's a private space company sending stuff to and from the space station. And two, well, one, it's named the Dragon, but... And two, I forgot my second thought, so it doesn't matter because it's just amazing. Oh, right, that's right. It's taking even more than anything else can right now. So
yeah, you know, the Russians, they send up the Soyuz to take astronauts and supplies and things up there, and that's what we're using to get our people to the space station since we scuttled the shuttle program.
Right.
See what I did there. But now we are encouraging these private companies to do what we were doing with NASA for a lot of money, a lot of taxpayer money. And I have friends that work at NASA. I know I want you all to keep jobs. I do. But at the same time, allowing a private business to work in conjunction with NASA is huge. Something that's never been done.
And this capsule will be doing some testing on its way up and eventually is planned to use for personnel as well. So, awesome.
We'll get there. Private space party. It's going to happen. I'm going to say I rule it. I promise. And we move on to Canada because we love Canada.
Canada.
I have Canadian family. Love you guys.
I have Canadian friends. They're awesome.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I just had to get over rereading the headline. A Air Canada pilot, and for those of you who don't know about Air Canada, I didn't really know either, but they're having labor problems the way that airlines sometimes do. Labor unions are arguing with the airlines and they want more pay and blah, blah, blah. So, pilots who actually want to work and eat and stuff are having to work a lot more to, make up for, the labor disputes. And so this co-pilot who was flying, he was asleep while his captain was doing the flying thing. And the captain is like, hey, first officer, wake up. I've got to do, we've got a plane that's in our vicinity. I need you to help me fly my plane. And the first officer, who was taking a way longer nap than he should have, by the Canadian air standards,
woke up, saw Venus, thought that was the plane.
Venus being up here-ish. Yeah, I'll take care of you. I'll take care of you.
What? And the captain points down and says, no, it's over there. And the co-pilot dives.
Yeah, he's like, plane! Whoosh! 400 feet down, the captain regains control and is like, that wasn't the right thing to do. That Venus over there is not the plane that's down there.
That we are now going towards.
That we are now headed towards a little bit. And 14 people were injured. 7 of them had to go to a hospital. The other 7 were pretty all right. And the 2 of the crew were kind of injured because they were doing what they do when they dropped 400 feet straight down-ish.
The plane's okay.
The plane's fine. Both planes are fine. And Venus is fine. And we move on.
All right, just going to cover this real quick. Running a bit low on time. So, Florida. You know it's going to be crazy. Police have arrested a homeless man, not for the usual problems of stealing or, public drunkenness or whatever, but for covering himself in ketchup and yelling obscenities at tourists. There's a couple things that come to my mind at this point. One, he wasn't taken to a psych hospital or anything. They were just like, yeah, just throw him in jail for a bit. So it could be, he's just looking for a bed. Or, in Florida, they just see that as normal and say, hey, you broke the law a little bit. Here's a misdemeanor. I'm sorry, I keep getting this image of...
gave him a place to sleep for the night.
Yeah, at least.
I think that's what he was looking for.
I just keep getting this image of a homeless man covered in ketchup yelling.
Go home, you out-of-towners!
All right, so, light bulbs.
Light bulbs? I know about light bulbs! So, the Philips company, who actually has manufactured light bulbs for a very long time, got this grant from the U.S. government to make a much, much, much more energy efficient light bulb. So, being the challenge accepted kind of people they are, they did and are releasing it on Earth Day, this upcoming Earth Day, I believe is next month, May something, early May?
Yeah, something like that.
Moving on.
Keep talking, I'll find it.
On Earth Day, they're going to release this $60 LED light bulb that will last 20 years, allegedly.
20 years.
20 years.
Whew.
But it's $60. I mean,
Well, it
technically
depends
it's
on
an
your area.
investment, but... Well, okay, so it depends on your area, whether there's like tax credits and whatever that are going to make it cheaper. It could be between $20 and $60, but it's going to be closer to the higher price.
And how do they know it's going to last 20 years? They haven't been testing it for 20 years, have they?
I would like to find out about that.
Anyway, so I guess we'll just find out in 20 years. Or sooner.
You know, the compact fluorescent that I got right when they first came out lasted me, at least to my recollection, like at least 4 years. Because I don't remember when I put it in, but I do remember when it burned out. And like I counted back in my head, I was like, yeah, I was there last year. It was the year before that. And the year before that. And
Gray.
Yeah, because that's what memory does after a little while. Get it back one day. But on to our last story of the day.
Last story of the day. All right. So over in Milledgeville, Georgia, I hope I'm saying that right, a 6-year-old was throwing a tantrum, not just any tantrum, though, in school. She was throwing things. She was biting the principal. She was biting a doorknob. She was pushing a bookcase down on
the principal.
This
like
was
bad.
So they called the cops, and the cops came and handcuffed her because evidently there is no age restriction on handcuffing in Georgia.
Well, apparently there's... in some places there's no age restriction on tasering, but, you know, thankfully they didn't do that.
Right.
Because, you know, some places they would do that.
Yes.
Sometimes I have a hard time respecting the police. In this particular case, I think they did right.
Me,
you just gotta...
I'm kind of iffy because it is a 6-year-old. You know, you think you'd be able to control him, but then you're like, well, the public school system, it can't, you know, really
they can't paddle him anymore.
Can't paddle him, can't manhandle the kids, can't do anything but talk to them.
You know, apparently kids can't hug their teachers.
Right. Check out previous episodes if you don't know what we're talking about. Either way, I'm kind of on the fence. Tell me what you think. You know, did they do right, or you know, is there something else they could have done? I don't know. I want to hear your opinions.
So put your answer to his question down the doobly-doo. Favorite it if you really liked it, like it. If we were just okay, subscribe to help us get better. He's AJ.
He's Jeremy.
And these are extraordinary times. Be aware.
I just want everyone to know I'm the one that did the logo. Shameless plug.
Did you get... Really?